My name is Oyewale Tomori. I'm a veterinarian and I'm a virologist. I spent a lot of my life working at the university level up till about 1994 when I joined the World Health Organization. But I came back to Nigeria to gain back to university for a private university and then retired in 2011. So my area is more like infectious diseases, disease prevention and disease control. I think the African Academy of Science is an opportunity for scientists to meet together, discuss the issues that affect our people, and also find out how relevant they are as a group. In which case, what is our research doing? How is it affecting the life of the ordinary man? Well, that's the whole essence of the science, that we are relevant to the needs of your people. Without that, then we're just, doing a thankless job, which doesn't mean anything. But as a scientist and as a group of young people coming in, the elderly ones, the younger ones, meeting together, looking at the experience of the past, blending it with the current situation for a better science practice for the life of our people. I think the first thing is what I call an enabling environment to practice, to do good science. There are certain basic infrastructures that have to be in place. Good electricity, communication, where like many of us import a lot of things, free access to get what you import. But all those are greater challenges. And then we have many governments who don't see the use of science. And I think it's an error because in other parts of the world where they are investing in science, the returns on their investment is more than 100 times what they are investing in. And I think it is important for us to realize that there will be no socio-economic improvement in our African region if we don't invest in science. So that's why the scientists, but again, I think that message also needs to get on to the people. Let me give you an example. Government will want to say, oh, this is not revenue yielding. I mean, when you invest in health, we don't get anything back. And the message I have for them is that if you don't invest in health and you have one disease come into your country, all your economic growth can be destroyed in 1 second, like what COVID did to us. During the COVID, go to Alaba market. Before then, you can't even find a place to step. Then during the COVID, your place was all empty. Government is losing tax, people are losing jobs, all those kind of things. So it is important to stress that it's better not to have the disease and work on your researchers to ensure that they prevent diseases. So the more money you invest in prevention, I mean, you reap benefits of it, in other things that come on the returns that you get. Well, I will answer that question by this thing. We talk about preparedness. Every student who is doing the exam prepares for the exam. But you know whether you are ready is when the exam comes and see whether you pass or not. So we're making noise, we are preparing. But it's the disease that will tell us when it comes whether we are ready. To me, with what is going on, and when you look at what has happened before, I don't think we are ready, either in Nigeria or in Africa. Other parts of the world too, even with all the facilities, the world is not ready for any epidemic because we don't know where it's going to come from. And remember the COVID. COVID made the whole world totally unprepared. It's not just Africa alone. So, and when you look at have we learned lessons from those past problems? Have we learned lessons? I don't think so. If we have learned, we have easily forgotten them. I'll give a good example. You remember during when COVID started in Nigeria, they said, oh, we had only 3 laboratories, that could diagnose COVID. And then we poured money into it, built labs, and the number went to about 160. Within 6 months, over half of those labs were no longer functioning because people, through dubious means, didn't build the good labs. Money for the workers, money for reagent, and money for even the building itself and the infrastructures were swallowed up in people's pocket. And that shows we're not, because we're going back and forth, back and forth. So I don't think we are ready. And in fact, recently, there was this issue of a new COVID coming up. I think the Ministry of Health said, oh, Nigeria, we shouldn't worry about it. And I said, no, that's not the way you do things. The question NCDC should have told me, we tested 200 samples and none of them was positive. Then I will believe what you're saying. You don't just tell me, oh, we are ready. And when the thing comes, you remember during the last COVID, it was Nigerians who were said to be negative, who traveled outside to Canada and they were discovering that they had COVID. I'm sure this is going to be the same situation that will happen this time. So we are not ready. Let's not deceive ourselves. We may be making preparations, but I think it's the wrong preparation and it's not sustained. You raised a very important point. when we've been talking about, since I was born, we've been talking about capacity building, but we never mentioned capacity retention. And what is capacity retention? It is creating the enabling environment for the capacity you have built to stay and function. But when you train me, and I have nowhere to work, like doctors, I mean, see a lot of our trained doctors are all going out of the country because there's no facilities for them to work with. So while you are training and building capacity, you must also think of creating the enabling environment for that capacity to remain in your country and do the work. But we're not doing that. And that's the issue of it's all what happens. We're ready to build roads all over the country, but when the potholes start coming, nobody looks at it until the road is bad again. So that sustainability culture, maintenance culture is not there, and we have not gained it. I think unless we begin to see all those things, it's just like we say, it's cheaper to prevent than to control, and especially with diseases. And the amount of money that you spend on prevention is so minimal compared to the losses you get when the disease you start doing disease control. So I think we need to change our attitude to that one. And it is good to collect donations. Donors come in, they go. They have their own agenda. But it is for us to know that all these things we're building, what are we going to do when the donors leave? And I can go back to the 1960s and 70s. University of Ibadan was the only, at least one of the early universities. Everybody came to Ibadan. Rockefeller Foundation, Ford Foundation, Carnegie Foundation, they set up all sorts of things there. Most of these grants were for 10 years. After they left, all those things collapsed. And that's the same situation we're still doing within 60 years after independence. We need to get that attitude of maintaining what we have and retaining what we have and giving them a condition to function. I mean, I could do all the research I can do inside my test tube. If nobody knows it, I don't exist as far as they're concerned. But on your own side too, you need the proper information to give to the people. Both of us have to learn from each other, the scientists and the journalists. You are experts in your area. I'm an expert in my area. You can do science, talk science. I can talk communication away. So we must learn from each other. We must bring the best of each of us, our talents, to make it a better world. Nobody knows everything. And therefore, that's why you are the expert in communication. I'm the expert in my science. I cannot even explain my science to the man on the street, but you deal with these people on the street. You want to be able to bring that together so that the people will benefit. Like I said, the whole essence of what we are doing, what is my relevance to my community? Both you as a communication person and me as a scientist, what is my relevance? And if we cannot get that message to the people, then we are wasting our time and all that thing. So you are that link, and an important link between the community which I'm trying to serve and the science that I'm doing. So we must continue to collaborate, and we must continue to mutually respect each other. I think that's one other area. Sometimes you remember during this committee, you say, oh, science has to come down level. I said, no, you are elevating science when you bring it to the understanding of the people. That's an elevation. It's not coming down. So we must get out of this pride of I'm a scientist, I can't talk to somebody. I think it is actually ignorance and what do you call it? A kind of complex that is going on. So my own conclusion is that we need each other. We must collaborate, and togetherness, with got us together, we reach a better for the community that we are both serving. I have hope for this country that in spite of all the people are saying, I still believe, because if I have no hope again, I wouldn't be here talking to you. I will have gone back to go and sleep in my bed, But the hope is the last thing that should die in the mind of our Nigerians. A great day is coming. Better hope for it and be alive to make sure that you are part of it.